Francois Austin, partner and global head of energy at Oliver Wyman, provides an inside look at the energy transition, including the World Energy Trilemma Index 2019 that was released at the 24th World Energy Congress in Abu Dhabi. Austin shared his views on the current world energy scenario, Oliver Wyman's achievement, the newly released World Energy Trilemma Index 2019, and many more in an exclusive conversation with Devdiscourse.
How do you feel on the 24th World Energy Congress?
I think the Congress has been a huge success. I mean, I've been to previous Congresses and I think this is the best one I've been to. I think the level of commitment by the local energy companies in the region and energy companies outside the region has been fantastic. As ever, it has got very senior executive presence, both at government and ministerial level as well as at the corporate level. And certainly, I found it to be incredibly valuable.
How your company's innovations could make a change in the world energy scenario.
I mean, we're working with the world's largest corporates as well as sort of large ministries, particularly energy ministries around the world, and we're supporting them in the energy transition. The energy ministries and the energy companies are having to address the issues associated with climate change, shareholder pressure and societal pressure, and we're working with them in terms of helping them make better decisions around their portfolios, around their investment priorities, and also how to drive and reduce sort of carbon consumption in their own operations. And I think overall, if you look at the results that we're delivering for our clients, I think we're making a meaningful contribution to the world in that sense.
What have been your company's major achievements so far?
I'm very proud of the work that we've done with WEC on the Trilemma Index. I think it creates a platform for conversations for governments and for corporates to think about the trade-offs that they're having to deal with on a day-to-day basis in terms of sustainability, in terms of equity, and in terms of kind of access and security. So I think we've created a framework for a conversation globally around the energy transition. And I'm also incredibly proud of the work that we've done with a number of corporates that has helped them to rebalance their portfolios and lower their carbon footprints.
What is your company's business strategy for further global expansion?
Well, we've been building out the team over the course of the last 6 to 7 years. We will continue to build out our presence in North America, particularly in the Houston area, focusing on both oil and gas and chemicals. In Europe, we see huge opportunity to work in the chemicals area, and we will strengthen our team significantly in that area. The Middle East has been an area of great investment and great opportunity for us, and we will continue to build out our teams and build out sort of the commercial platforms we take to market. And in APR, we have no choice but to really look to grow and expand our teams there. The world is increasingly, energy is being consumed increasingly in the Eastern markets, and equally well, a number of players in Asia are becoming sort of the renewable superpowers of the future, and we need to be there and understand what's going on and contribute to that evolution.
Today, in association with World Energy Council, you released World Energy Trilemma Index 2019. What are the major findings of this report?
If you look at the new dimensions to the report, I mean, one is that we've always done in-year comparative studies between the 128 countries that are within it. And what we have done in this report is also looked at sort of a 19-year historical profile in terms of the evolution of individual countries against each of the trilemma dimensions. And that gives us a sense, not just in terms of where people stand today, but the path and the journey that they're on. The top 10 countries in the world are pretty much the top 10 countries that have been there for the last 3 or 4 years in reality. And even though they're in the top 10, they're facing challenges. They're facing challenges around issues of fuel poverty in Europe, which is where most of those countries come from, with the exception of New Zealand. And also issues in terms of security as they transition from fossil fuels to renewables, and not necessarily yet having the resilience required to cope with that new energy mix. And I think the other thing that we've seen seen is actually, who are the great improvers, and they tend to be both African and Asian countries, driving on aspects of sustainability and also of kind of equity. I mean, we're seeing increased access. So there are still probably 1 billion people in the world who don't have access to power.
How do you see the role of Oliver Wyman in achieving a global goal of clean and affordable energy set by the United Nations for the year 2030?
Well, I think the work that Oliver Wyman does with the World Energy Council around the energy trilemma enables us to create a platform, a framework, a series of conversations around the trade-offs of sustainability with the with the other dimensions of both equity and security. So I think that is a contribution that we're making to the conversation. And I say the other contribution we're making is that we are working actively within the Middle East region on a whole series of renewable agendas, really leveraging the inherent assets of the kingdom in terms of the sunshine that it's got to actually reduce its carbon footprint. So I think in a number of areas I think we're making meaningful contributions both at a national level and at a more geopolitical level.
What message do you carry from the 24th World Energy Congress?
Well, I think what this Congress does is that it brings together the key stakeholders in the energy world, be that from the level of government ministry level or whether it's at the corporate level. And I think it's just kind of reinforced, I think, for everybody, the fact that we are on this transition. I think this transition is accelerating, and I think people will leave the Congress kind of excited at the potential that's out there, challenged to some extent by the amount of work that's got to be done. But as we've seen through the Oliver Wyman and World Energy Council Trilemma Index, we are making real progress around this, and I think people will leave excited, somewhat challenged by what's still got to be done, but I think confident that we can actually achieve many of the objectives that we've set ourselves.
Subscribe to our channel. Just click on the bell icon for all the latest updates.